G'day everyone, Damo here from Australia, and a big shout out to everyone that's put on this show from the International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language. And today we're going to get a little bit weird. We're going to be going through STEM education and eSports and then kind of blending them together. I've had to play around on this yesterday and yeah, we might get a little bit weird, but I'm all right with that. Hopefully you'll be all right with that today. So let me run you through a few things that I've got today. I've got a top-down camera here, got my screen, and I got my main one. So if we want to start chatting, if I'm going to do any presentations, this is the one you look at, obviously, and then we've gone my screen. So let's just get into it and have a bit of fun and take it from there. All right, let's get on my screen. Here's mini-me. Right. So eSports and STEM education. So as a bit of a background, whilst this next little clip's playing, STEM Punks has been floating around doing STEM education in 3 different countries. That's face-to-face, 3 different continents, sorry, for the last 4 years. Now, obviously, when COVID hit, we had to change things around a little bit. So we started having a look at this growing trend, eSports. I'm not going to get into it too much because we've got a lot of details coming up in that in a little bit. So then we just saw that there was an angle there of how are people using esports, where is it used, how could it be improved, who are the players, who aren't the players, what are the products, all that kind of stuff. So we've got a little bit of background on this one, and yeah, I would have taught STEM education to nothing under 10,000, thousands of students, tens of thousands of students. That's teaching, by the way. That's not going in just doing a show. That's teaching. And probably about the same amount of teacher PDs. I've taught thousands and thousands of teachers across continents and had a lot of fun doing it. That's one of the little videos that we've got just when we're playing around with students, just to keep them engaged. Okay, so what we're going to cover today. A little bit about us, a little bit about STEM Punks, a little bit about myself. And the only reason why I do that is because I want you guys to feel comfortable that I kind of know what I'm talking about. Might be rough on the edges at times, but it's all right. It's all right. Teaching's real. We're humans, you know. We make mistakes and we go rogue sometimes, and we don't go rogue. But this is probably one of the kind of subjects that we can start to have a bit of fun with. Imagine that as a concept in schools, having fun, crazy. So here we go, and then we've got an eSports introduction, current perceptions, what's happening in school. We'll go through some career prospects, how it's actually coming out, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't even ever think of that. I was like, what's going on here? And then you start going, okay, well, maybe there are a few things to this. And then the more I dived into it, the more it seemed to look really interesting. And then we'll briefly cover some of the research and the opportunities. And I might even have time for an example. Okay, so I'd love to have that one in the bank by the end of the session. Okay, so that's what we're going to get covered, and strap in and let's get weird. I love that. Okay, here's a couple of things about us. We've won some pretty cool awards, starting to get some international awards about STEM education. We're getting bigger and better, and this is one of my first sessions in the UK. Actually got family in the UK, so yeah, let's keep rolling. If anyone's keen to have a chat, you know where to go. Here we go. So this is when STEM Punks and online learning really started to get a hold of it, the start of COVID, right? 2019. As a crew, we always did STEM education face-to-face, and we always built programs that were online, but we never knew how it was going to work. So then we started doing hybrid, we'd go and do a little bit of a face-to-face, but then we'd give them activities to do online, so then the students could have access to us in their own time. Now, I didn't know if that was going to work. Obviously, it's picked up massively in the last 2 years. But prior to that was a hard push. You know, a lot of people didn't really think it was going to work too well. This is some interesting bits of data here. This is taken from one school, and we worked with that one. So the reason why we just want to do one school on this one is because we worked solely with them for face-to-face for 2018, and then 2019, hybrid and online. So they had the whole touches, they had the whole experience of going face-to-face, hybrid, online. So that's why I thought it was really interesting. So 69% said they liked the online lessons. I was pretty happy with that. considering that our programs, we've had 2 more years doing it. So you can imagine how much you improve after 6 months, let alone 2 years. So I was pumped for that. Applying STEM skills, 84%, which is rad. 50% said they wanted a future in STEM. Now I was sitting there going, only 50? Like, did we only impact 50%? And that said to me that, are we not portraying what STEM is well enough in the schools? Was that an issue? So I had to have a think about that. And then one of the other teachers there was just going, look, you're beating yourself up. Imagine if you didn't go along. If we've got 89% recommendation, imagine if we weren't there, what that number would be. So I took that on the chin, and hopefully those students, those 50% of students would like to get it. As we know, it's a huge percentage of the workforce moving forward that's going to actually be using STEM skills. And that's not just going in and being a scientist or a mathematician. There is so much to STEM, it's unbelievable. And realistically, it's bringing all these kind of events, all these tools, and bringing them up into one, which is work, right? Look at this, like right now, how do I get my camera? I'm not going to ruin the camera, but I've got cameras, digitals, artwork. I've got so much gear here. I'm a teacher. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to have this fluid mentality of going, I'll give it a crack, see what happens, and have a bit of fun. So we're using STEM every single day, and it's just been open to how it's being used. All right, so here's a bit of the sweet spot. So the reason I believe that we're definitely getting a lot of traction and a lot of friends around the world is that we're having this straightforward, we always know that this is your rote learning, you got your engaging, your rote learning, you get your times tables, all that kind of stuff. We've got the pure entertainment. We see these guys as doing the smoke shows and that kind of stuff, which is cool. It's always got things there. But we sit right in the middle of engaging curriculum, and we want to be there because if you've got this engaging sweet spot right in here, everyone knows that Venn diagrams. Oh, we don't need all this rubbish here. If we sit here, that means that we're engaging this crew. We know that there's going to be this engaging curriculum. We know that the students are going to sit there being kind of captivated. And when we're doing shows like this, they're going, I've got my own personal TV. I'm like, yeah, you do. You're talking to the TV. Have a chat to me. So that's kind of how we see it. We want to make sure that students are having a great time. We want to make sure that they're learning something, but we want to make sure that there's also takeaways. So if there's not going to be this kind of educational outcome, what's the point? Then if go and do Teletubbies. I know you guys know that out there. So you know what I mean? It's got to have some educational output. It's got to be there. However, I also do say that this pure entertainment and straightforward drills, there is a place for that. There are places for that. And as teachers, we all know that. So it's just finding that blend, that really cool blend. Okay. So I'm going to play a little video, and this was a rookie error from me, but I wanted to show you guys, why. Look, it was a cool program, don't get me wrong, but I was looking at it going, how is this replicatable in any other schools other than bringing along, it was the elite of the elite, and it was getting students to learn about how humanoids work and do a radio communications after they've 3D printed like building blocks and tools for the robot. So it was a great program, self 5 to me. It was banging. There's lots of transdisciplinary learning in there. It was absolutely rad. However, how does it relate? Like if there was 6 kiddos that could do it. So that was a cool lesson for me. I was just going, where is the take up on this one right now? And for me, realistically, it was probably too elite. I wasn't hitting the 90% of students that could do it. I was reaching 5% of students that could do it and wanted to do it. And even getting weirder, even smaller, having a school that was open to do it. So whilst that was a rad program, and if anyone wants us to come and do it, we can, but I was just saying it probably wasn't the scalable model that I believe STEM and STEM education should be. And that's the cool little segue into the next one, which is now making STEM education accessible for all. And that's kind of where we're starting to go right now. How do we reach more communities, more students? How do we start to make this equitable? How do we make it engaging, and how do we make it fun? I think we're going to nail it. So that's coming out in the next couple of weeks. By the time this is shown, you guys will see it. So have a look for it. Hit us up, get any questions on it too. Okay, so the reason why I think STEM education, it's obviously we've got COVID-proof learning. That's massive right now. We have strong industry links. I'll give you an example, strong industry links, right? We do a lot of entrepreneur and innovation programs. They're awesome because that's the relation between what happens in school compared to what happens at work. If you're not making these links, then what's the point? So one of my favorite ones that we went out with a coal terminal, and they had to clean up bird poo off the handrails. All the students start laughing and giggling. And I was like, the CEO comes up and goes, this costs us $2 million a year to clean. $2 million a year. We can't shoot the birds. We can't poison them. We can't scare them. We can't remove them. But we need to solve this problem. How can you do it? And so then the students like, that was such a cool thing because, then students start to figure out, well, I'll 3D design something and I'll research something. And I was going, welcome to world. This is what happens when you get out in the real world. You're going to start to incorporate some of these real world problems, but you don't have all the answers, but you might know Jeff over there that knows coding. Great. Jeff, can you do the coding for this? Cool. Tina, you got some design thinking skills? Sweet. Get on this. Got some 3D design skills? Great. Let's all come together. And that's kind of how it all worked. And it was such a cool program. A lot of our programs are developed. All of our programs are developed and by teachers and produced by teachers. So therefore, I know what you guys are going through. Put it that way. I know that it's been a grind the last couple of years, so it's good. Okay, let's keep going. Right, so when we start to talk about STEM education, it's important that we start from the start. That's the easiest way I can say it. If you're a teacher that's not interested in it, sweet. If you're an admin or a principal or someone that's looking to start STEM and you're going, how do I even start? Where do we go? Look, you've got to get the teachers that want to do it at the start. Don't push anyone in. I'll tell you, you're going to get the worst pushback forever. So just get the teachers that want to learn and want to do it, and start with them and start just with one skill. Just start with one skill. And this goes with the students too. How do you do one skill at a time to slowly build up your toolbox? And these are some pretty cool ones. You guys have got that one out there. Hopefully, everyone, if you haven't been using that in England or UK, get on it. Like BBC Microbit, BBC, right? Get out there. Okay, so anyway, that one's a really cool bit of tools. So this is your disciplinary learning. Disciplinary learning is learning one bit of tool, learning it, getting good at it, knowing what it does. Just do that. The next segue going into STEM education is once you go through disciplinary, you go your transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary, but then you can get into your interdisciplinary where you give students these scenarios where they start to use the skills that they've learned previously, your disciplinary skills, but they start to use it in a really open forum. So students learn concepts and skills from two or more disciplines that are tightly linked to deepen knowledge and skills. So you could give them an unfamiliar problem with an unfamiliar tool, and they're going to know how to do it. They're going to figure it out because you've broken down these barriers. Okay? And that's really cool. iSports, eSports, Mars Explorer. So there's some cool ideas. If you want to screenshot that, go for it. Otherwise, you'll be able to see a lot of stuff on stempunks.com. Okay. Let's go into an eSports introduction. Oh, how are we going for time? Got to start hurrying up. All right, eSports introduction. So, realistically, like the perception right now of an eSports gamer is a student sitting in there on their own in a garage, not getting outside, not getting sunlight, not being healthy, right? That is the old school perception of gamers. It's changing. And I've seen the research to prove it, and I've got that research coming up. The growth, this one's a really interesting, the growth of esports. Have a look at this one. In 2016, the NBA final match was viewed by 31 million people, while League of Legends World Finals had 36 million. So it had more than the NBA finals. Esports. Right? So we start going, well, why are we fighting this? Why are we fighting this in schools? Like, we don't say to students, don't go play basketball. We don't tell them not to play rugby. But we are actively saying, don't go and do esports. When there's so much more to it. Let's have a look at it. Now, if we start going upon some of the research. Now, the top one, this one, I've got all this one. I found it all on the North American Scholastic Esports Foundation, NASCEF. So if you guys want to find some, all of that's available. It's all up there, so you can check it all out. In this, the research concluded that students had enhanced esports gave them entry point to new groups of friends. How about that? You got someone that doesn't know many people, and now, boom, we've given them an opportunity to make some new mates from that we probably wouldn't have. Right? Isn't that what we want? We want the kiddos to come out of school feeling healthy and happy and engaged. Boom! We're getting it done. Right. Landscape. Having organised straight events. Parents, this one's pretty much saying that this article was more so saying that we need to upskill the administration, parents, and communities. Because the students already like it. We've got to start meeting them there. So that was a pretty cool article that I was going, you know, you're right. If this is viewed by 36 million people and beat the NBA finals, maybe we should learn something from this. Maybe we should try and stop it. Maybe we should embrace it and see how we can use it. And this is a cool one, where they just found out about how do they start to find sneaky ways to get into STEM, really, because I'll show you that in a second. Here's a cool one: growth, activity, mind, environment, relationships, and sustenance. So we've got a pretty cool little be well, play well. That's pretty rad in there. Okay. Now, why that was important, or I think that was really important, that last slide, is that there is the research there now. There is the research. Okay. There is research now to back this up. And this is current research. It's not like 1997, 1998, this, or in the 80s. This is current. This is like 2020, 2021. This stuff's coming out. So we've got to listen to that. We've got to listen to the black and whites. As I said, I read through tons of articles. I just wanted to just put some quick notes on these ones to, validate. I know, here's the thing, do I like reading them? No. But do I know that I need to make sure that that's validation for a school? Because what a school wants to go, where's the black and whites? If you think we can have a club, where's your black and whites? Prove it. Show me why it works. Show. Done. Okay. Some pros and cons. Here's some programs that actually are running in schools. I know they're actually running in schools. I've seen it. Right. Pros, that provide an opportunity for students to represent their community. It's definitely inclusion. Okay, I've seen it, and that's really cool because you get the students that maybe the students haven't worn their badge, their school badge. Now they've got an opportunity. You've got a sports captain that isn't first 15, or first 11 cricket. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, you got your sense of community. It's a really good one, so students can actually start to collaborate a little bit more. And this is emerging. It's coming in. This is the new thing that's coming in. It's not even new. It's just the new juggernaut that's coming in that people are trying to not look at and not acknowledge, but it's coming through. Cons. If this is not monitored correctly, it can go pear-shaped. And I think for us right now, half of the battle is the students probably know more about the game than us as teachers. Yeah, that's fine. So then you teach them how to ethically play. Some students find it hard to monitor their emotions and they get triggered or tilted, it's called in the gaming world as well. Now, this is a really cool learning experience. Like, give them warnings. Talk about the emotions. Why does that affect you so much when you lose a game of FIFA soccer? And the last one, which is pretty interesting, like, I'm a teacher. I've got my degree in teaching. Yeah, I've been teaching for 10 years. How do I justify taking Mario Kart into a classroom and going, go get to it? I struggle with that. So I don't do it. I know crews do it and they do it well and they enjoy it. Go for it. So these are some of the ones right now that are being played, and they're doing a good time doing it. They're getting a lot of students coming in and they're getting a lot of inclusion. So I dig it. For me as an educator, I need to educate. I need to see that there is an outcome, a learning outcome with curriculum alignment, with a career pathway. Micro-credentials would be ideal, but that's where we're at. This is where we start getting funky monkey. We've got the Minecraft EDU. If you have not seen Minecraft, I guarantee 90% of your students have. This is also a very good tool for things like language arts. Know what I mean? Anyway, so you get it what I'm saying. Students can start to work together. It's got some really cool safety features. It can be used on a lot of platforms, which is great. So if you're Windows or Chrome or whatever you are at Mac, whatever kind of school you're at, you should be able to get Minecraft on it. Really good as a beginning tool. Super, super good. Okay. Lots of activities, and there's heaps of free. Like I know definitely, obviously you're looking at Australia and US lately, and I've got to start ripping into the UK curriculum, but there is programs. People have written programs already on Minecraft. Don't reinvent the wheel. Go and check it out. Say, is this going to work with me? Just cross out the things that don't. Put in the things that you do. You know, let's start to be smarter when we're doing these things. Okay. Now here is some of the skills that's been built. Now I thought this was pretty interesting. So obviously we've got your esports related professions. Yeah. No one would have thought of this, eh? No one thought about this. Broadcasting, events, organizations. We're starting to do events. I have never experienced, like if I'm looking about the things that I've learned from doing event management, again, I'm a teacher. I had no idea the skills that we're actually starting to learn from negotiations, from event setup, from risk management, from all this kind of stuff. I'm going, man, we're starting to get pretty good at this. Like, how did that happen? But anyway, we are. Digital, it's a really cool one. Marketing, you're getting students. So here's the thing, you're getting students now that whilst they've gone into your team, like think about any professional sports team. Let's go, Ulster Rugby. I think that might be out there. That'll ruffle a few feathers or not. All right. So there's 15 guys on the pitch, 7 or 8 subs. How many are behind the scenes looking after that team? Physios, GMs, event. It's the same thing. It's just that right now we're giving these students a leg up into a brand new emerging industry. It's a sport. You could have 6 of these players from your school doing this, but you could have the rest of the cohort involved. So that's why they could be coaches, they could be shoutcasters, they could be event organizers, they could be lighting, cameras, editors, they could click the films up. There's so much that they could be doing, it's unreal. Legal, oh, that's a fun one. Legal. Entertainment, education. Yeah, so there's tons of avenues where they actually can start moving through. Here's a pretty good way to look at it. So we start talking about, here's the players, organizers, strategists, content creators. This is a really interesting one. So students don't even have to be the players to start to be a streamer on it or a journalist. This is a really cool part. I think that'll be I like to get the students down in this area because I want, once they've started to learn innovation and entrepreneurship, they can kind of navigate themselves around any sort of industry that they want in their life. As long as they keep this creative mindset open, then they should be good to go. This is a pretty cool thing. It's very accessible right now. Esports is very accessible. It's very up to date. It's going to be coming through. There's going to be more jobs coming through. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I know that there is a lot of the main players that own the big sporting teams in the States. They also own eSports teams now as well, because they see it's merging, it's coming. In-school programs, tons of in-school programs right now. And that's only going to grow. It's only going to grow. And right now the world's a lot more connected, whether we like it or not. So maybe we don't find that. Out of school competition. So this one's cool because then you start to actually get some knowledge. You want to do some programs in the classroom, can. If not, you can also do the out of school programs like after school. We call them out of school homework, or I know it's called that. I'm not too sure what it is in the UK. You guys will figure that part out. Okay. And this is a little bit about the innovation sports. Now, this one's pretty cool because this is where we start to combine the esports with STEM, and you start going into innovation sports. Now, if I'm having a look at this innovation sports, I'm going to have to go real quick because we're going to run out of time. And we have a look at how does innovation sports work. Well, we can get students to start going through the design thinking model. Let's see if I can get out of there. So they start talking about design thinking. Let's start there. If we want to build a house, okay, let's build a house. Too easy, let's get onto it. Then we can go onto your defining, drawing, sketching. I can get onto this part and I can quickly go. Let's go top camera. If I want to build a castle, oh my goodness. Oh, that's all right, actually. Oh my word. Much better than... Okay. So then we actually can go through this. And you can see that we're just drawing up a nice little castle. This, I mean, the thing is, like, you can go through and you get students to actually go through the whole design thinking model and say, what do we want to actually design? Like I was telling students I wanted to design a wombat catcher that would stop them going across the roads and getting squashed. So how do we actually design that? What's it going to look like? That's one idea. So I'm going to go in and just go into a quick one on Minecraft. So once we've told students that we want to have a little play around, draw it out. That's the first step of everything. Get them to draw it out. Do your design thinking. Bang. Design thinking, design thinking, design thinking. Design our solution. Then we've got to get them to go into, let's go top down again. Then we come out to Minecraft. As you can see, I've got to just go fly here really quickly. And we can start, oh, that's right. And we can build one. Once they've built one, I'm just going to come up. I was building one in the water, by the way. Ah. All right. So this is Minecraft, and what I can do, obviously I'm not going to do this right now, but build a castle in Minecraft. You can get the picture of what I was trying to do there. And then we can actually say to students, from there, once you've built your Minecraft building, there, we can actually go through and start to 3D design it. Have a think of the skills that we've just gone through there. We've gone through design thinking. This is just, there's a sheep barring on my Minecraft. So we've gone through design thinking, drawing, Minecraft, designing. Then we've gone into a 3D design, and then we've 3D printed. And we haven't even touched a competition yet. But you can see how we can start to relate STEM and esports. The whole point to this is that we want it to be equitable. We want STEM engagement. We want students to get into STEM. We want them to fall in love with the whole concept of STEM education. And we're going to be able to do that by giving them a really fun opportunity to do it. So that was kind of like the little bit of system that we just did. We used Tinkercad and Minecraft and some design thinking. So your next steps right now is dig into it. Have a bit of fun. Rip in and understand you're going to make mistakes. Learn from those mistakes and move on, because the students students are wanting this stuff, and they're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Hit me up, Damien Aldridge on LinkedIn or Twitter, STEMpunks AU on the gram and on Facey. So if you guys ever want to reach out and do some collabs, let's do it. The world right now is about collaboration, not competitions, even though we're getting students to do eSports competitions. But within our educators, let's not make life harder than what it already is. Let's share some stuff. Let's have a lot of fun and enjoy it. STEM and eSports. It's here to stay. Embrace it. Thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you next time. Eru.